I'm gonna just riff a little bit about faith and surrender because I haven't made a video in a while. A lot of really powerful things have been happening to me. I've been writing a lot of it out in poetry, trying to isolate meaning or lessons one by one. But I think it's time for a larger perspective view.
Good morning, how are you?
Good morning.
Where are you from?
I'm from the US. Speaking of serendipity, of synchronicity, I'm out walking. I start to film to discuss this topic, and I meet English-speaking dual citizen in a very similar situation to me. I think I just made a friend. Anyway, faith and surrender. It's such a powerful thing. It's so powerful, and I want to talk a little bit about the intricacies of it, of just surrendering to faith and not worrying about, not letting details or questions block you. And I'm gonna take my time. I gotta collect my thoughts again. You'll have to pardon me if this is a hard to understand, or if it's hard for me to say, to communicate, because these things are beyond words. And that's part of what I want to talk about. The God's plan, the beyond understanding, the right action that you feel in the moment that may not logically make any sense. You don't know why, but you feel a rightness about a path. And the more I surrender to this intuitive feeling of right action, of God's plan, the more things go right. And as I'm looking at myself here, I still have this tattoo, and I felt very, very, very strongly guided to get this tattoo initially. The first and only tattoo I ever have gotten. And I sat and I was indecisive for so long about getting a tattoo. This one I just had, get it. And now, the most important person in the world to me has asked me, would I really do anything for them? And I said, yes, I surrender. And I do. I surrender. Unconditional love, ultimate surrender. And they asked me to remove the tattoo. And so, how is this related to God's plan, right action? Why was I guided to get this tattoo? Maybe I was guided to get this tattoo just so this person could ask me to remove it, so that I could prove that I would do it. I finally got a response from a dermatologist who will do the procedure, by the way. So that's coming if you're following my journey. But there's no regrets. I don't regret getting the tattoo. I don't feel anything was wrong. This was the right path. And there's so many instances of that. I felt like going for a walk early today. I felt like taking this path, which is the long way around. And I made a friend. I feel compelled to give, to be generous, to be vulnerable in certain circumstances, to certain people. And it's painful, and Doesn't necessarily make rational sense, but then it's been doing this long enough to see like, wow, it's really moving things. It's really pushing things in the direction of what I want to manifest. I was struggling with like career direction. I started this fermentation business, and someone reported me for advertising that how kefir can protect you against dengue, and that's not official government sanctions message. So I was reported. I felt for a long time removed. Like the part of my brain that was engineering was like turned off for a while, and then recently I felt very strong, like, wow, engineering, like I miss doing cryptography. And now I've got multiple job offers, and the subtle things, it's hard to even describe the subtlety. Like I was told that I would move to, I kind of received a message that I was going to move to the United States, and that the people who are important to me, my family, my son, would follow me, would go with me later this year. But is that really going to happen, or was I just supposed to start down that path and then that would set things in motion that now the plan changes? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you thought was the plan when you took the right action yesterday. It wasn't wrong. Your intuition today is not telling you to question what your intuition told you yesterday. My intuition to remove my tattoo now, to follow that request, is not saying it was a mistake to get my tattoo. My intuition to take these engineering jobs today, which that they're remote. Now I set up the infrastructure and found a way to do these jobs remotely. Don't have to go to the United States. Can stay present with my family, my son. Maybe these things happen so that I could find this particular type of remote work. And I just needed to explore this option and that option and that option to arrive at this point. Another example, this person who means the world to me is my ex. And I've been letting go, detaching, and it's an art. It's an art letting go, and it doesn't mean giving up hope. It doesn't mean blocking feelings or anything like that. But the line of these things is so fine, and you feel it out. The only way is to feel it out with alignment. And sometimes I feel a sense like it's too much, I should just move on, which is separate from letting go. And so, for instance, I've dated other women and so on, and gone on Tinder and then got off Tinder, and none of these things were mistakes. I learned powerful lessons from these things. I got on Tinder, I met a wonderful woman, and she was everything that I thought that I wanted or that was missing. And we connected for a while and so on, but ultimately I'm very grateful to her, because she taught me lessons about what I wanted and ultimately what is love. That I don't just need physical connection or some company so that I'm not lonely. I don't just need any family, just to be with a good mother and just to be a father to children. I need magic. I need love, real love, unconditional, universal love. And I needed self-love. If I was feeling lonely, then why? What is this loneliness? What kind of company am I missing? What connection am I missing? And I learned since then about profound things about love, about unconditional love. That's how I arrived at surrender to my feelings for my ex, to my love. It's not, feelings and love are also like, love is not a feeling. Love is a state of being that is actually intimately connected with this surrender and faith. If you surrender to faith, to God, to the source, you enter the state of being of love. I don't know how else to describe it. And you love yourself. You don't judge yourself. I didn't make any mistake. And I can approach myself with this complete love. Just like, it always struck me as a kid, there's, Jesus loves you. Jesus loves you. Jesus loves the homeless guy. Jesus loves the criminals. Jesus loves everybody. And it's that love, that love is what you touch. And you can love yourself that way when you surrender, when you just have faith and in God's plan or right action. And I want to say one more thing, and then I'm going to wrap this up. There's a lot of terms, spirit guides, angels, God, and people get really stuck up in these, and I used to. Soon after my spiritual awakening, I learned about a number of concepts, but I still kind of approached them with some judgment. And for instance, like recently I've been seeing a ton of synchronicities about angel numbers, and they're just hammering me. And it subjectively feels significant. And so I put significance on it, even if it's only subjective. What does that mean? What does subjectivity mean? And I would judge spirit guides or angels, because I came to this through a very internal work, just self-exploration, turning inward, more in like the Buddhist tradition or through Jungian shadow work. And so, I would judge this and say like, well, all the answers are inside you. You need to look inward for your answers. We are one, and if you look inside yourself, you'll see that we are one. But that is also in the answer, beyond duality, like, we are one. If you look inside you, you will realize that you are one with your neighbors and your ex and the people walking on the street and the plants and the birds and everything. But you are also one with the angels and spirit guides. And the distinction of who is giving you this intuition, is it an angel or is it you? Is it intuition or is it a divine message? Are these numbers significant because they're sent or because you give them significance? These are all actually kind of meaningless questions. Moo. Why? Because we're one. There is no distinction between an internal intuition and a divine message. There is no distinction between your soul and a spirit guide. There is no distinction between us and God. We're one. We are one with the universe, with God, with the angels, with the birds. And to question where did this come from is kind of meaningless. And I'll give one more example. I believe my ex and I are twin flames. That is mirror souls. And I feel, I believe, I feel her energy many times. Or someone else's energy. I'll be having a beautiful day like today, and then I'll get a scratching in my throat out of nowhere, or indigestion even though I'm fasting, or I've been eating my own wonderful food that is very healing to the guts. Why do I have indigestion all of a sudden? Or and I feel these energies, and it's meaningless to even ask, did it come from her? It's meaningless to question my intuition about the experience. Did it come from her or not? Because in fact, we are one. And so, let's say that, my initial thought is, my throat scratches. I feel it's related to my ex. Maybe she's going through some sort of throat chakra thing. She's trying to speak up about something and can't, or but then you say, well, is that really it, or is it me? But we're one. Unask the question. It's not, is it her or is it me? There's an energy, there is something. And we both have something. So do you, so does everyone else. And it's not that everyone's throat scratches at the same moment. I don't know if her throat was also scratchy at that moment, or if you, the listener, had a scratchy throat. The point is, for me experiencing it, I need to unask the question of, where does this come from? It's pointing to something that I can act on or learn from. And I need to surrender to the present and the opportunities. There's something that I'm experiencing. There's something in my present, and I need to process it. And to question where it came from or why is not the point. That's not going to progress. It's not going to move the energy to release it or whatever. So, all these details. Where did this energy come from? Why was I told to do this and then that? Is it spirit guides or intuition or God or all of these questions are illusion, are distractions. You need to surrender the need to ask or answer these questions and just have faith. That's my lesson, my message. Thank you for listening. And I'm so grateful to all of you for this beautiful day. I love you all. I love the sun. I love creation. We are one.